Hey guys, and welcome back to another Rivet Wars video. Today we're doing something a little bit different, unit highlights. Actually, today we're doing class highlights. And our first class we're going to be doing is a class that you will see all the time on the battlefield. When you are exchanging blows and you're moving up your units, there's always one unit that you can guarantee is on the board. This unit will stick with you thick and thin. It takes out tanks. It removes heavy support units and some cavalry. And more importantly, it holds down those objectives. The unit I'm talking about today is infantry. Today we're going to be talking about the infantry class in Rivet Wars.
We'll be over, we're coming over, and we won't come back till it's over there.
Infantry are going to be one of your most popular units on the field. They're going to be with you thick and thin, through the mud, through the trenches, through the war, and through hail and gunfire. Let's have a moment to talk about infantry. First, let's go over some infantry traits. Traditionally, infantry units will take up 1 square of space in a grid. Infantry units can get into bunkers in order to have better protection against incoming enemy fire. Infantry units are the only units that can enter strategic objectives and hold them down under enemy onslaught. Infantry units are halted by barbed wire and cannot enter a grid that barbed wire exists. Both sides have a slew of infantry at their disposal. Let's talk about them for a second. The Allies have many very good infantry at their disposal, like Uncle Rivet, the Veteran, Mountaineers, Corporal Cher-Ami, and many, many more. On the other side of the fight, the Blight have just as many infantry at their disposal, like the Iron Chancellor, Captain Elsa Frost, and Jaeger Koenig, with many, many more. And let's not forget some of the many neutral units that you can call into play. Overall, the Allied faction has 13 unique infantry unit types to play on the field, while the Blight hold their own with a solid 14 unique infantry unit types to play on the field. And let's not forget the many specialty units that can enter the fight as well. Alright, we've been talking about them. Let's talk about some cool facts. The most expensive unit of infantry by far is Atomic Robo. Atomic Robo will cost you a solid 4 deployment points and 2 rivets to field as the Allies. Although cost to get on the field is by far the basic infantry, the next cheapest infantry to field would be the Guard Dog and the Kampfhound, both being free to deploy with an action with the use of the handlers. And the best infantry in the game as of right now is by far the walking tank, Atomic Robo. Atomic Robo is literally just that, a walking tank that can hold down your strategic objectives or bunkers. With a solid 3 armor type, a range of 2 attacks, and he's by far can touch anything that the Blight can put on the field. He is by far the best infantry unit in the game. On the other end of the spectrum, the worst infantry unit in the game is also held by the Allied with the Clockwork Soldier. This unit may have an immunity to gas, but with only an armor type of 1, with 2 health, and a deployment cost of 2, it can't even capture strategic objectives. It can do serious damage against enemy infantry, as well as hold its own against armor type 2. However, it is still not worth the 2 deployment point costs when you look at the other options the Allies can field on the board. Therefore, it is my opinion that they are one of the worst infantry types you can field on the board. Now it's time for us to talk about who are the heaviest hitters in infantry, and we actually have a tie. It's no surprise that Atomic Robo makes the list, being able to touch absolutely anything and everything the Blight can board. With 2 attacks and 2 dice against everything, this heavy hitter can go toe-to-toe with some of the Blight's biggest tanks and toughest foes. But the Blight aren't out of the fight just yet, for who he ties with is Baron Gaston Tenkin, who is my personal choice for the heaviest hitter infantry in the game. Not only does he get the same 1 attack, and he gets 2 dice against anything the Allies can field. But the reason why he's my choice is because even though he only gets 1 attack versus Atomic Robo's 2, it's a gas cloud, and his gas cloud takes on a whole life of its own as soon as it's on the field, doing the same amount of damage, 2 dice against everything. Of course, unless it has immunity to gas. But even units with immunity to gas can still take damage against his initial attack, making him definitely the strongest infantry unit on the Blight side and a heavy hitter when those big tanks hit the field. So let's talk about the basic infantry for each side. First, we're going to cover the Allied Riflemen. The Allied Riflemen are a solid unit to get on the board, and are easily one of the biggest strengths the Allied have. Their entire purpose is clearing out those strategic objectives and holding them against enemy units. They are amazing, being able to attack Armor Type 1 with 3 dice and hold their own. Their weaknesses come in their inability to attack any other unit, and being Armor Type 1 themselves, they are the embodiment of squishy infantry. On the other side of the board, we have the Blight Panzerfaust. Panzerfausts are not as good as infantry combat as their rifleman brothers, and that can come across with some inexperienced players. Where they find their strengths is in attacking any other unit and supporting their armor in the battlefield. When you deploy your Schlitten and your mono-wields to take out the riflemen, and the other team starts deploying their rocket cycles or tanks to control the board, you can deploy massive amounts of Panzerfaust to make sure that they're kept in check. They can also hold strategic objectives and bunkers against those larger tanks, which will come in trying to wipe it clean for the riflemen. As far as actual costs go, both of these are easily one of the cheapest units in the game and the best bang for your buck. At only 1 deployment point, these two really shine when it comes to infantry combat. Both have their excellent strengths and weaknesses against each other and really define the factions in which they take part in. Overall, both the Blight and the Allies have some serious infantry power. Being able to put some massive movement on the board and being able to secure those strategic objectives. Hold down bunkers and take the fight right to the enemy. If there's a unit that I didn't mention here who's your favorite, why are they your favorite? Leave a comment in the comments down below. There's a lot more infantry I didn't touch on here. Do you disagree with me on who the best infantry unit is? Do you disagree with me with who the worst is? What's your reasoning on it? Who's your heaviest hitter and who's the most useful unit per the cost that you can field? Go ahead and do the discussions down below. This has been the infantry highlight, and this has been the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want more Rivet Wars content, feel free to subscribe. If Rivet Wars isn't your thing and you want more steampunk content, check out my other videos and check out my events. Stay tuned for some more Rivet Wars gameplay, some more Rivet Wars highlights, and some more how-tos. With that, this has been the Landship Scorpios, signing off. To the sweetest girl I know.